What is testosterone? What's its role in both men and women? We're going to find out after this. So keep watching. So today we're here in Athens, Greece, with Dr. George Touliatos. We filmed here probably back in 2019, and we're back again to discuss some topics around testosterone. What is testosterone? What are the impacts if your testosterone are not optimal? And we hope to have a quick discussion, so please do watch the video until the end. So, hi, Dr. George. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. Welcome to Athens.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be back. This is kind of where we started.
Yeah.
So, the topic that we've obviously talked about a lot, we talk about other hormones. Testosterone in particular is important for both men and women. And we're seeing more women now, actually, who have low testosterone as well as men. So, I guess the question is, from a biochemical point of view, you're a biopathologist. What is testosterone?
So testosterone is considered as the main androgen. Testosterone in men is 10 times fold higher than in women. Testosterone during puberty elevates in boys, okay, and actually separates teenagers from boys, and then they become men. Testosterone is an androgen with anabolic properties, but is characterized by certain effects on the tissues. So it defines the sex through the DHT in the fetus, but also testosterone is responsible for the secondary sexual features like pubic hair, penis elongation, development, testicular development, also semen production, also armpit hair, voice deepening in the larynx.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have the facial growth.
Or the more chiseled, is it a longer face with testosterone, or is it more of a chiseled face?
The jawline, the jawline, okay. Yes. And then, of course, we have in the bone marrow the APO production through the kidneys, of course, the erythropoietin. And also we have through the DHT, the sebum production, the skin makes more elastic. Also the bone elongation, through the epiphyseal bone plates. Before actually puberty, before the 18 years old. And of course we have the liver, the SHBG production that is responsible for the total testosterone carrier. And the testosterone through its conversion to estrogen matures the bone and increases the bone mineral density, but also the androgens and testosterone, of course, and the anabolic steroids are capable of retaining calcium so that it feeds the bone tissue through, of course, proper levels of vitamin D3, and then you avoid osteopenia, osteoporosis, bone fractures. Of course, testosterone is capable also to improve insulin sensitivity by increasing muscle tissue that burn the glucose, and we have better absorption and assimilation of the glucose in the bloodstream through improved muscle mass. And of course, testosterone also optimizes neurotransmitters synthesis like dopamine, which is the hormone of the feeling of reward, and serotonin, which is the joy hormone. Actually, that's why we have better self-esteem and self-confidence and cognitive function. DHT also is responsible for the cognitive function. So testosterone has many benefits, and we have to understand that in the lack or in deficiency of testosterone, we feel the plethora of the side effects that are related to aging process.
Okay. So what about women? What does testosterone do in women?
Now, in women, testosterone is also responsible for the sex drive. So both sexes need a little bit of the opposite hormone. We need a little bit of estrogens. We have the dominance of androgen also.
Okay.
In women, the same also. They need a little bit of androgen for sex drive. But also, the conversion of testosterone to estrogen is bone protective, not only to the cardiovascular system, but also in the bone tissue. So that's why in menopause, when we don't have estrogens and testosterone, then we have the fragility of the bone tissue.
Okay, and the osteoporosis.
Mhm.
All right, so briefly then, we know, and we talked about this in different videos, that levels of testosterone are reducing in men, but we're seeing it in women as well. And we've talked about the potential reasons for this decrease, environmental toxins, lifestyle, etc. I mean, how serious of an issue is this?
The aging process, the decline of testosterone.
The reduction of testosterone in people
It's a
today.
fact. I mean, today's generation is of lower testosterone than our parents, and our parents of lower testosterone than their grandparents. So it's a downhill process, the 20th century to the 21st century and the 19th century. And we have the xenoestrogens, the xenoestrogens, theory, also the stress accumulation, the toxic radicals, okay, perhaps too much of soy and narcotics consumption, and also other medications like cortisone, non-steroidal inflammatory drugs, all right, SSRIs that contribute, and the sedentary lifestyle, of course, lack of physical activity, exercise, the more visceral fat, the lower the testosterone. We say that men extinct in the 21st century.
Men are going extinct in the 21st century. That's a good one.
And fertility also.
That's a little bit about what testosterone does. And again, I've always said that testosterone's like three drugs in one, three molecules in one. Testosterone gives you your free testosterone, your dihydrotestosterone, like you said, and your estradiol, all very important.
That's why you cannot replace TRT with any other compound. Let's say about androgen, crazy things that say about trembolone. No, testosterone has the perfect ratio 1:1, but also it has the estrogen, has the DHT. They're all fundamental for the proper physical and mental health.
Well, I mean, that's interesting, because there have been studies and papers that have discussed nandrolone as a monotherapy, especially in the late 90s.
First of all, it's an anabolic steroid, a synthetic derivative. Testosterone is a natural hormone, the real deal, okay? So DECA is just an anabolic steroid for other purposes that it cannot replace testosterone itself.
No, of course, but again, that was proposed for men who may be more prone of BPH or the other downstream effects of DHT.
You can control BPH by 5-reductase inhibitors.
Right, but
all right, but DECA does not give you the DHT or the proper estradiol, and also we have to understand that DECA is more toxic than testosterone in the liver and the lipids. 250 of testosterone won't lower your HDL, but 250 of DECA will, and also your ALT or AST. There's zero liver toxicity with injectable testosterone.
And when you say liver toxicity, you're referring to how it lowers the lipids, how it changes that lipid profile.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What testosterone is, and that testosterone, as you say, is the real deal. It's the hormone that does so many, it has so many different benefits for men and women.
It's the official hormone that we produce.
Yeah.
We don't produce DECA. We produce testosterone. In the lack of testosterone, we need to replace.
So what would you say, again, with the testosterones that are currently used in TRT, with the exception of gels and creams, but the injectable testosterones I'm talking about, when it cleaves from its ester, you get the bioidentical testosterone, but some...
You get the real, the bioavailable compound, but the bioidentical elements are only the creams.
One could argue that the creams, they're using certain chemical compounds to help increase their absorption through the skin.
Yes, the liposomals.
So, like you have liposomals for the creams, you also have esters chemically bonded to the testosterone molecule itself. So
the creams?
No, injectables. So
yes.
Would you argue that the esters of testosterone could be similar to what you have with the creams?
Esters, and we have different esters, but the esters are responsible for the time release of the compound.
Just like the liposomal effect, and going through the skin slows down or enhances its absorption and then adjusts its release.
We have liposomal and alcohol-based.
Yeah.
The liposomal is much better assimilated and absorbed rather than the alcohol-based. And then in the injectable, we have the suspension testosterone, the propionate, the cypionate, the enanthate, and the andecaunate. And we also have the oral testosterone, the andriol, which was andecaunate.
Which absorbs to the lymph system.
The lymphatic system, exactly, only with the fatty meal.
So I guess we're not really getting off topic, but we just expanded into the types of testosterone treatments that if you were given testosterone, we have both injectable testosterones and we have creams or topicals, which would include creams, liposomal-based creams as well as
Now the pellets and the
gels.
buccals are no longer used.
And
the pellets are injectable, they are penetrated into the subcutaneous butt.
they're
area.
no longer used in Europe as much. In the North America and the United States, there are big companies.
And also some buccal applications in the oral cavity.
Yeah, there's also
The
nasal
gingiva,
applications as well, I think.
Mm.
And they're almost, is it a gum form?
In the gums, yeah.
In the gums, yeah. Is
absorbed
like
through the gums.
A lozenge or a troche.
While women apply it into the vagina or by cream onto the clitoris, you know?
As they do with estradiol as well. There's intravaginal estradiol as well as intravaginal progesterone. What testosterone is?
But first of all, that's why vital, because it's an androgen. It has a steroid molecule synthesis. So only through androgen you become a man. So testosterone is an androgen, but yet it has anabolic properties. It's not an anabolic steroid, it's an androgenic anabolic steroid, okay? It's in the class of androgens along with fluoxymesterone, along with prostanolone, along with mesterolone, okay?
Right. The androgens improving your sexual
of course.
function and
Yes.
secondary sexual
Men
characteristics.
need androgens, women need estrogens.
But
okay?
women also need some androgens.
Yes, a little bit, of course. They have 0.5% concentration of the cream.
What are the negative effects of testosterone?
As we said that many times before, what conditions testosterone treats, the flip side of the coin means that if it treats anemia, we're going to have erythrocytosis.
So if you have low amounts of red blood cell count, low amounts of hemoglobin, low amounts of
It is
hematocrit,
helpful for the stamina and the endurance.
testosterone will increase that.
Yeah, and the oxygen capacity to the tissues. But if you abuse it or if you use it prolonged, then in some people this is uncomfortable because they have elevation of the erythrocytes, known as erythrocytosis, and hemoglobin synthesis.
Right.
Now, because of its conversion to estrogens, too much of testosterone may increase estrogen production in the mammary gland tissue, and this sometimes occasionally may lead to gynecomastia.
Gynecomastia.
All right. Now, of course, testosterone will enlarge the prostate, sometimes, occasionally, not all people, but this has nothing to do with the malignancy of the prostate cancer.
Right.
Because the prostate cancer happens also with men with low testosterone, because it's estrogen dependent as well. And we have, of course, the genetic, predisposition of the hair thinning. Okay, acne also is a steady side effect of the DHT-related sebum production.
Hopefully that gives you a good idea of what testosterone is, what it does in the body, some of its benefits, and there are potentially some negative side effects from any medication or any hormone that you use. If it's not used properly, it may cause that. And if you would like more information about testosterone, please visit our website, balancemyhormones.co.uk. And do visit the channel or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll have more topics before anyone else of the latest videos that we will release. So thanks again, George, and we'll see you next time.